Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I thought I can put Islam in a nutshell. I tried to really understand what my religion is and find out where are these rules are coming from and how does Islam, how is Islam being built? I like what I found, and I like to share it with people, especially Muslims, because I don't think Muslims know exactly what Islam is all about. And there's a lot of additions and things that are added by the scholars, and you don't know where the origin of each of this. Is it coming from the scholar, or is it coming from hadith? Is it coming from Quran? Did God say it, or did the Prophet say it, or did the scholar say it? So that's why I think it's important to go to the roots of all of the rules and regulations and beliefs of every religion, right? Every religion, I've studied religions for a long time. Every religion has been corrupted almost exactly the same way. And the smart ones are the ones that's going to follow the origins of the religion, the fundamentals of the religion. That's why they call it the fundamentalists, but that even by itself carries a different meaning in Islam. So without further ado, I want to just quickly say, Hadith to Quran in Islam is like the Mishnah and the Talmud to the Torah in Judaism. The Torah is supposed to be the word of God through Moses, or the most authentic, supposedly. And in addition to those, there were added things that the scholars added. People wrote about different prophets, other rules, and everything was placed in a couple of books that were added to the Torah. For example, the Torah is 5 books of the Old Testament, and the whole Old Testament is 35 books. Right? You can imagine the level of change of religion if that's the case, if my theory is right. Also, Christian religion, same thing. The sayings of Jesus are different than the books of Paul, for example, which constitute about half the Bible. 13 out of the 27 books of the Bible are written by one person named Paul, who never saw Jesus. Same thing in Islam. But Islam is a little bit unique, in my opinion, in Islamic opinion, that Quran has been protected and was guaranteed to be maintained till the end of time, with no change in a single letter, single word, single anything, by God. But people are very innovative, so they made up other body of rules and regulations that said it came from the Prophet, and it carries very similar or close weight to Muslims and Islam. And that's the Hadith. Quran has 6,400 verses. Hadith has 108,000 hadith in the Sunni tradition, and a little bit less in the Shia tradition, and every tradition has its own hadith book. So that's why it's essential to me, especially with all of the misinterpretations of Islam that are going around, to actually go to the fundamentals, and I did, and to find what is Islam only from Quran, and to see, because people say you can't really find everything in Quran. No, you can't. I mean, look at what I'm going to tell you now, and you'll and see if this is actually a religion or not, and a good religion or not, and the best religion or not. So this verse here is the dictum. This is the main verse that you should go by. This is the verse that it sets the rule, and be very clear about where to get your religion. I'm going to read this in Arabic first. The verse says كل الطعام كان حلا لبني إسرائيل إلا ما حرم إسرائيل على نفسه من قبل أن تنزل التوراة قل فأتوا بالتوراة فاتلوها إن كنتم صادقين. The verse came when the Prophet was arguing with the Jews in Al-Madinah. It says, all food was lawful to the children of Israel except what Israel, which is Jacob, made unlawful for himself before the Torah was revealed. Say, O Muhammad, say to them, bring here the Torah and recite it if you are truthful. So basically the argument is that, you know, this food is haram, this food is unlawful, this food is lawful, all of these things. And God told them all the food was actually lawful for the children of Israel. Imagine that. Judaism has one of the religions that is until now has the most food unlawfulness, different types of food and different combinations of food. And God argues with the Jews through his prophet Mohammed, says that all food was lawful. All food was lawful except what Jacob, who preceded Moses by 800 years, is the son of Isaac, and that's the son of Abraham. And his name is Israel, obviously. Jacob is Israel. He made some food unlawful for himself, for whatever reason. His stomach doesn't agree with it, anything. But the key is not the surface of look at the deep under the surface of this verse. What this verse is telling you, that if you have a prophet that actually makes something unlawful for himself, or do something, or walk a different way, a certain way, or dresses a certain way, or talk a certain way, that's fine, all respect, but that's not your religion. So God here is not saying, like we sometimes in Islam say, well, did the Prophet really do that or not? We need to find out, did he really do this? Is the hadith authentic or not authentic? No. God is telling you, I am telling you, these foods that currently are unlawful for the children of Israel, they were authentically made unlawful by Israel. But he's saying that's not good enough. That's not religion. That's Israel. Same thing, without further ado, I'm just going to go into directly, but same thing, he prohibited Prophet Muhammad of making certain food unlawful for himself, lest people follow that and think it's religion. So that's very important, and I'm not going to say anything else about that, and we'll go directly to talk about different constituents or different pillars or different building blocks of Islam, right? So let's start with orders, what Muslims revere the most, because Muslims don't believe in salvation. So orders are very important things to do. That's why they are very they look to be very religious, because they follow orders, right? Okay, so let's start. Orders. Number 1, be fair. Don't transgress. Every order that I'm saying comes from Quran. There's a verse to support, or more, to support each one of them. Be fair. Number 2, don't transgress. 3, don't corrupt the community. 4, don't veil the right with wrong. Number 5, don't follow what you don't know. Number 6, don't be proud. Number 7, don't turn the other cheek. Do not turn the other cheek. Number 8, be accommodating to the believers. Number 9, lower your voice. Number 10, walk modestly. Number 11, ignore the non-knowledge worthy. The non-knowledge worthy, people who are ignorant, basically. Ignore them. 12, lean towards leniency always. 13, follow social norms. 14, have the best intentions. Number 15, call to the way of God with wisdom. Number 16, don't nullify your charity with too much pride or insult. 17, don't steal or embezzle. 18, don't call each other names. 19, don't mock each other. 20, don't talk behind each other's back. 21, don't spy. 22, don't follow conjecture. 23, be peaceful. Number 24, greet with better greeting than you were greeted with. 25, give parents the best treatment. 26, give your kin and orphans a great treatment. 27, feed the poor and disadvantaged. 28, don't exchange the good with the bad. 29, pass the orphans their money. 30, spend what we bestowed on you. 31, only say evidenced speech. Speech with evidence. 32, talk to people in a good way. 33, help each other to attain God-fearing attitude. 34, don't aid each other in evil or transgression. 35, protect your belief and devotion to God. 36, keep God's covenants. 37, be accurate when buying and selling. 38, adhere to the standards of goods when you're selling. 39, support the truth tellers. 40, say the truth even if it hurts you. 41, fight only who fights you first. 42, treat people from other religions good if they don't fight you. And these are the orders. Now, the next big topic, the forbiddens. The forbiddens are almost like the Ten Commandments, but they are 14 in Islam. Number 1, associating partners with God. 2, mistreating parents. 3, killing sons and daughters lest poverty. 4, indecent actions. 5, murder. 6, embezzling orphans' property. 7, false witnessing. 8, breaking one's promise. 9, marrying the unallowed. Certain people that you're not allowed to marry, like your sister, for example, right? 10, usury, 11, encroachment on others' rights. 12, fabricating God's words. 13, consuming alcohol, dead animals, blood, pork flesh or meat, or pork flesh or meat that a carnivore partially ate. So consuming alcohol, dead animals, blood, pork flesh or meat that a carnivore partially ate before you. 14, gambling. Now, let's move on to criminal law. Every religion has something related to criminal law. The law of Moses definitely has a lot of criminal law in it. Criminal law, number 1, kill the killer. No ifs, ands, and buts. Symbolic cut of the hand of the thief. 3, punish the adulteress with 100 lashes. 4, punish the people who accuse women of adultery without evidence with 80 lashes. 5, kill the terrorist or cut a hand and a foot of the terrorist. 6, women who commit inappropriate sexual acts without full intercourse, they get house arrest or house arrest for the rest of their lives, or until major change in the social situation occur. 7, the man and the woman who commit inappropriate minor sexual act in public, a small punishment determined by the authorities. Number 8, the woman who acts loose in her husband's absence and doesn't respond to advice, a small corporal punishment by the authorities. Number 9, slave girls, if they're slaves or in the time of the slaves, slave girls after marriage committing adultery get 50 lashes. You cannot keep prisoners of war. You can't keep them as slaves. 11, treat the prisoners of war during the war good so they can hear Quran. Even if some of what I said doesn't apply now, but I'm telling you what's in Quran. I'm being very honest what's in Quran. And you tell me, is this a great religion or not? I'm talking mainly to Muslims. You don't have to look into hadith to find the rules and law. The law is in Quran. Okay? Next, we're going to talk about civil law. Right? Number one, just to show you how intricate Quran is. It doesn't need hadith to explain or add anything. Number one, inheritance. Everybody knows that read Quran that the inheritance takes about 2 pages in Quran, and it describes in details what everybody should take if the person dies without having any will. But just to, the major ones. The son gets double the daughter, given that the son has to, get married and pay the dowry and build the house and actually spend all on the marriage, and the daughter and the woman in Islam doesn't spend a single penny on the house. So that's why the son gets double the daughter. The will can be given to anyone. Not like hadith says. The will can be given to anyone, even your son's daughter's father, mother, anybody, depending on the situation. If you have a retarded son or an incapacitated son or daughter, and you want to give him more money than others, yes, of course, that's allowed. The rest is obviously in details in Quran. Number 2, marriage is only to one. Guys, marriage is only to one woman. Man is allowed to marry up to 4 women to protect their families and support their orphans. Only in cases of orphans. Only in cases of orphans you're allowed to marry the mother of the orphan. In a certain arrangement that Quran said up to 4, only to protect the orphans, not to lust over women, right? Number 3, you have to be fair among wives if you have more than one regarding time and money. Number 4, you're allowed to marry a slave girl only if you cannot marry a free woman. Number 5, women should cover their crevices with their headscarf. Interpret that however you want. The crevices are crevices. We know the crevices. Number 6, slaughter animals via the neck. That's also in Quran. أوفوا بالعقود. Number 7, you may eat the hunts that your dog caught for you. Number 8, write up your debts and monetary dealings. Quran say that. Number 9, jizya is the tax of the rich Christians or Jews who live under an Islamic state and wish not to join the army. If they join the army, there's no jizya. Or it's a tax on the whole state that is engaged in fighting a Muslim state and lost the war. It's like we do to Iraq now, for example. The United States is doing to Iraq. Basically, we're taking their money, we're taking their petroleum, we're taking whatever, because there was a war and we have to pay for the price of the war. Right? So that's no problem there. Let's talk about worship. Number 1, establish pray 5 times a day. Establish pray, like really pray. The other meaning of prayer is that you have a connection with God. That's the Arabic meaning of it, and that should happen the whole day. But establish pray, like stand up and do the ritual 5 times a day. Number 2, read Quran around Fajr. That is a requirement of Islam. Every Fajr you should read Quran. Number 3, pay zakat and alms. Number 4, Hajj. Number 5, fasting Ramadan unless sick or traveling. Has to be remade if you're traveling or sick. Number 6, perform ablution before each prayer. Not to wear a sock and just go around like Jews did in Septim. Right? You can't do that. You can't fool God. Number 7, abbreviate prayers only if you're afraid. Number 8, prayer is timely, never excused not to do. Number 9, the menstruating woman should pray and may fast if it's not too hard. Number 10, pray Jum'ah in mosques, even women. Right? I concentrate on things that are against hadith. Most of these, 90% of what I'm saying is in agreement, hadith and Quran, but there's certain things that take the most publicity and should take the most publicity, that hadith really goes crazy. beliefs. We believe that believe in God, that has no equal or similar. He's everywhere. He's everywhere. He doesn't have body parts and does not sit in a certain place. Very important. Number two, we believe in his angels. Number three, we believe in all his books, the Torah, the Bible. Muslims believe in Torah and Bible and Quran and any other book that God revealed. Number four, we believe in all of his messengers and we believe that all of them are equal. That's a big mistake that Muslims do all the time. Prophet Muhammad is not higher in stature than other prophets. He is the last prophet, but is not higher in stature. Number five, Prophet Muhammad is the seal of the Prophet and was sent to all mankind. He follows the Abrahamic way of worshiping God. Number six, the religion of Islam, the religion is Islam, the religion of God is Islam, but it took different ways and different forms throughout the years, Judaism, Christianity, and then Islam. And Islam, that we say Islam, it's called Iman, right? That's the Muslims are called mu'mineen, believers. We are called believers, but we and the Christians and the Jews are called Muslims. By the way, Christians never called themselves, Jesus never called himself Christian, and Moses never called himself that he follows a Judaic religion. He follows the religion of God, or the religion of Abraham that worshiped God. All right? Now, minor beliefs and disbeliefs. All of these minor beliefs and disbeliefs, there's a big disagreement. They're all minor, but there is a big disagreement between Quran and Hadith. And unfortunately, some fanatics in Muslims, they take this and make it their religion. It becomes, the religion revolve around this. And I just want to clear the waters here. Number one, magic exists. And all of what I'm saying is from Quran. Magic exists and it works only by tricking the eyes, not related to jinn, not related to the ghosts. There's no magic that somebody summoned the ghost to do something. No. It's just a trickery of the eye. That's all. Number two, hasad exists, which is envy, right? And it works by the person who sees your blessings, envies you, and hence starts to do things to hurt you in yourself, in your job, in your family, in your income, health, etc. It has nothing to do with jinn. It has nothing to do with the ghosts and the underworld and all this. Number three, there is nothing called that jinn possesses humans. Basically, there's nothing called that jinn goes into the human and controls them. The exorcism and all this, that doesn't exist in Islam. Number four, there's no intersection between jinn and human unless it's a divine miracle given by God only to specific prophets throughout history. You will never see jinn and there will never be like a meeting, or you're never going to meet jinn in your life ever, unless it's a specific miracle that was done and will never be done again. Number five, treating with Quran is a psychological process which can turn psychosomatic. We believe that Quran, when you read Quran, you feel calm, and that can actually makes you, feel good, and maybe it treats diseases, psychosomatic, with a psychosomatic approach. But there's no specific verses that treat certain diseases, and there's no exorcism. Number six, there is a people called Gog and Magog. Gog and Magog, we know little about them. Quran intentionally didn't tell us a lot about them, but we don't know if they came or they're gonna come, and it really doesn't matter. At the end of time, either they're gonna come in and becomes a big war, or they had already come in the form of people that we don't know, that throughout history like wiped civilizations and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter. Number seven, the signs of the Day of Judgment are very few. In fact, it's asserted in Quran that the Judgment Day will come suddenly. The word suddenly, that means nobody knows that it's coming. One of them, of these signs that's mentioned in Quran, so let's not, there are books that they sell in the streets of people making up signs as they go. Anything that is happening now is a sign of the Day of Judgment. It's really crazy. One of the very few signs I've mentioned in Quran is that there's a small animal or insect that will be in the ground, and there will be a lot of them, so walking on earth will actually be almost impossible or prohibited. It would be hurting people. meaning hurting them, not talking to them. Number 8, there's no false Messiah. There's no Dajjal. Nothing. No Dajjal is going to come. That doesn't exist in Quran. Or there's no Mahdi. This is wishful thinking for weak people. And Jesus is not coming back. The final prophet is Prophet Muhammad, and that will be the end. Number 9, prophets and messengers of God don't legislate. They don't punish or reward. And only God does that. They don't legislate, they don't punish or reward. And that's it. That is our religion, guys. That's Islam. Right? If somebody asks you about Islam, please show him that video. If you want to know about Islam, show him that video. If you're Muslim, please listen carefully of what I said in this video, because trust me, this is our religion. Anything else is additions by humans, right? And God is capable, in one book that has 6,000 verses and 500 pages, is capable of telling you everything that He wants to tell you. And when He said, I protected my message in Quran, I protected Quran, and it's not gonna be corrupted till the end of time, He is performing this miracle for us every day. If He didn't, this Quran will be a million different versions, and it's not, right? Hadith is a million versions of each hadith. So that's a whole other video we could talk about, but the point is, if you purify your religion, and even if you have a sentimental connection to hadith, and there is a lot of hadiths that are right. I mean, everybody, if I want to give you a poison, I'm not going to give you the poison. I'm going to put the poison in orange juice. So you like the orange juice, right? So that's the same thing. Hadith is so good and amazing. Some part of it, some of it, but the minority of it destroys the whole thing. You can't add that to the religion. If you have a sentimental connection to it, read it, but read it as history, as which can be right or wrong, can be left or taken, and stay with the fundamentals. This is Islam. Everything that makes you cringe in Islam comes from hadith, which is unauthentic. And everything that makes you proud comes from Quran. Stay with the fundamentals, and you're never gonna go astray. Do you think God will punish you to say that I followed every single word in your book that you revealed to us? God in this book is not talking to. He's talking to Prophet Muhammad in about 180 verses or something, but for the majority of verses, it's talking to you. It's actually direct talk to you. What else do you want? Thank you very much.